Hello everybody and welcome back to another Walking Dead video, and today we'll be doing my review for episode 1 of season 1 of Tales of the Walking Dead. And I was very excited for this episode because we have big stars like Terry Crews, and let's just really talk about it. So the big things: Terry Crews and Olivia Munn smash it out of the park with their roles. Their characters of Joe and Eva are so likeable, so fun to watch, and I really liked it. I was really excited to watch Terry Crews. He was really the character I cared about. But surprisingly, I liked Olivia Munn's character too. I was a bit on the fence with her. However, Olivia Munn just made her such a likeable character. I was very shocked with the lack of comedy with Terry Crews, and I thought it to be a very funny episode. There is comedy, and this is the closest we've ever got to a comedy episode of any of the Walking Dead shows, but it's not as much comedy as I expected. That is an issue. The ending was quite funny, but everything else wasn't very funny. It had that Walking Dead thing, so it felt like a generic Walking Dead episode. That's not bad though. It was still very fun, very entertaining, and the two characters were very likeable. They worked very well together, and I think Olivia Munn might have been the funnier character in most of the scenes. We had Terry Crews play this kind of prepper, and Olivia Munn being this kind of hippie prepper who does all these things, and I think Olivia Munn was slightly funnier in most of her scenes than Terry Crews up until the end. I feel like the ending, Terry Crews just kind of became funnier. Now, let's actually talk about the actual episode itself instead of the actors. Well, the episode has a very basic plot. It's that Terry Crews, a prepper, is getting lonely, so he decides to go find this other prepper. Along the journey, he finds Olivia Munn's character, and they end up going on a journey. And it's basically a road trip episode. We actually have like shots of them just driving, and we get maps basically of them going through Ohio. It's a very cool, simple idea, and it works so well to have these two characters end up walking into each other. They have great chemistry, and it's just, we see this. Talking about this though, there is a lack of walkers, and I definitely think this has been an issue going into all Tales episodes. They are very character focused episodes, so we barely see any walkers. There's maybe one or two big walker fights, and definitely at the start of the episode it did feel a bit rushed. I have to say they definitely rushed through Terry Crews kind of introduction just so they can get to Olivia Munn and then have them go off on their journey. So you had this big kind of montage of Terry Crews getting up, and then this big tragic thing happens, and it's like bam, he's over there. I did feel the pacing at the start was a bit too fast, but once it got past that, it was a very fun episode. Great pacing. It looked normal. There's nothing spectacular about the way it looked. But I do also have to mention that they are definitely making this for streaming service because they're allowed to swear. There are 3 big F-bombs in this episode. That's the most we've ever got in a Walking Dead season, basically. Any season of all the shows, they've normally only had 2. Tales just pops 3 out in the first episode. So this is definitely for AMC Plus. That's what they're definitely building it for. And it's very good because we don't have the clunky dialogue like we do on other shows. Look at season 4 or season 3 as a perfect example in The Walking Dead of clunky dialogue where they're trying to avoid saying the F word. They just drop it in this, and it makes scenes more impactful. You get more emotion out of scenes, and then it makes scenes funny, especially at the end. Now, talking about the ending, I feel like this is a very good way to tie up the story but leave it open-ended. It was a very good ending. Our characters have a little fight. It was a bit underwhelming just to be kind of just 1-on-2. In a way, it could have been cool to see Terry Crews get used in a sort of fight, but really Terry Crews just sat there chained up, not really doing anything. Terry Crews didn't really have any good fight scenes this entire episode. Even outside the ending, Terry Crews doesn't really fight. It's all up to Olivia Munn's character to have the cool fights, which is a little sad because seeing Terry Crews, you want to see him destroy some walkers. You do see him kill some walkers, but he's always kind of limited with a handcuff or he's tied up, so you don't really see Terry Crews being used to his full potential in fight scenes. But going back to the ending, I just feel the ending did underwhelm me slightly with how kind of simple the kind of big villain or something of the episode was, with the fight just being over that when Olivia Munn stepped in. It was just something simple. It felt like they're like, oh god, we've run out of time, let's just quickly end her, then get out of here. They could have had it maybe been more of a, they both get imprisoned and then it's escape, and we could have had that be the end with them escaping and doing that. No, it's just Olivia Munn goes into the bunker, takes it out. I do also want to mention the music. I feel like the music was good in this episode. The fight music was pretty cool. It did feel different to The Walking Dead. I will have to mention Tales immediately stands out. It may look just like the shows, however, the vibe it gives off, especially in this episode, it felt like its own thing. It doesn't feel like a kind of cheap imitation like Fear does, even though Fear looks completely different, the way the stories are told, and the music does sound a lot like The Walking Dead. Tales just looks the same, but it feels different with the writing, the music. It just does feel unique, so that's good. The ending was very good, but there's one issue, and I do feel like we get introduced to these really cool characters. We grow to like them really quickly. They're so likable. They work so well together, but we only see them for once. I really hope we get to see more Olivia, Munn and Terry Crews, just because they're so good. And this is definitely, straight up, I'm going to call it best episode this season. We haven't seen the next 5, but I don't think the other 5 are going to be as good as this episode. So let's move on to our one sentence, one word over review. And overall, this episode is very entertaining. The actors are very good. They have great chemistry. They make it a very fun and watchable episode. The story, though, is a bit basic and simple, with these two characters are just going on this journey to go find someone they care about, but end up finding out that they care about each other, basically. It's a very basic story, but it works for a one-off episode. It is very fun, entertaining, and I really like this episode. I would have to give it a great episode. This is really good. This is definitely the best Walking Dead content I've seen in a really long time. This has been better than almost all of Fear Season 7 and a lot of Season 11 of The Walking Dead. So this is definitely one of the best episodes I've seen this year. And that is my review. So please tell me down below, what do you think about Tales of the Walking Dead Season 1, Episode 1? Did you like the episode? Did you not like the episode? What was your favourite part of the episode? What are your kind of praises and gripes? I'd like to know all your thoughts and opinions down below. And if you want more Walking Dead content, please look on the screen. I do reviews, discussions, breakdowns, like lists, very different content. And if you want to keep up to date with all things Walking Dead, make sure to subscribe to the channel. But this is it for me today. And if you want to help out the channel, make sure to like. But I'll see you later, so goodbye.